I'm Pat Thompson, and I want to welcome you to the Friendship House. This is the Friendship House for the homeless and those who have no place to go to shower and to get food and to get clothing. And so I want us to walk in so you'll be able to see this. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the rooms where I lived in this house. This is the formal living room, and when I lived here, we had a partition here with a door that goes into the den. So the formal living room comes to this partition here, and then this was our den in the back. This is the foyer, the hallway coming in, and this wallpaper was here when I lived here, along with this beautiful chandelier that was purchased while I was here, and it's great to still see that hanging. I do want to say one thing about the foyer. We had here two beautiful needlepoint chairs with a lovely mirror that long all the way down and had a table in front that was beautiful, that I dared my daughter to sit in, and especially when she had friends over. But anyway, those beautiful needlepoint chairs are now in the First Methodist Church Sanctuary Annex, where they serve coffee on Sunday mornings. And those chairs were just beautifully done, and they just enhance this foyer coming in. This is the formal dining room that had the beautiful French doors here, and it was just lovely, lovely. Had a beautiful table with 8 chairs and had a gorgeous china cabinet here, and it just another beautiful piece here. It was just a lovely room, and we had the brass chandelier hanging here. Those were purchased while I was here, and it was just a lovely room for entertaining and having people over, and I love to have the choir to come at Christmas. Then this was the kitchen, or is the kitchen, and the flooring and all the paper that you see left was put in right before we came. Yes, there have been a lot of changes to this house since I lived here. This is, of course, where all of our bedrooms were. We have 4 bedrooms and 2 full baths. And I want to say something about this area here. The house, of course, did not have large closets by any means, and we'll go into this bedroom and I can show you. But when years before my husband came here, Larry and Ann Wilkinson served this church, and during their time here, they lived in this house. And Larry is the one I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for building the closets out here in the hall and the storage cabinets on both sides, because that was a godsend. That helped so much. And if you want to see in this bedroom, this was our bedroom, the master bedroom with beautiful cherry wood furniture. We only had one little closet here, and now they have 2 closets that they've made, which helps with the clothes closet. But all the rooms have 1 closet, and they're not very big. And then we have the two bathrooms, and they're both pretty much the same, just arranged differently. 2 full baths with tubs and showers. And this bedroom and the other bedroom both had twin beds, and all the paper that you see up here was the original when I lived here. It was put up. The bedroom furniture, not furniture, but the bedroom paper was all put in when we came. But this paper was up when we moved in, and it's still holding on. I feel so honored to be on this front porch this day. I just cannot say enough about the 6 years I lived in this house. On November of 1986, we were living in Boone. We received a call from our district superintendent, Frank Edwards, who called and said he needed to come over and speak with us about something. And I knew then it might not be good news, but we said come. And he did come, and he said that there was going to be a change or 2 or 3 changes within the conference. And he was going to need some help from my husband George. Said the bishop is really wanting to move Garland Young, who was the minister here at First Methodist and lived in this parsonage. He wanted to move him as district superintendent to Gastonia to follow the superintendent who had previously died just a few weeks before. And he wanted to bring George to First Methodist Waynesville. Well, naturally this is November, and of course we were thinking about how soon this would be, and he came along and said the bishop wants this move to occur in January of 1987, which was just 2 months away. So anyway, early in December, we received a call that they wanted, the Youngs and the church here wanted us to drive over from Boone to visit for the day and see the church and the parsonage. So we made a trip to Waynesville to visit the parsonage and the church. And Garland and Jane Young were so gracious and hospitable to us from the beginning to the end. They could not have made us feel more at ease. And I kept thinking in my mind, I believe this is where God is really leading us. So we spent the day with the Youngs and got to meet a lot of the church members and had a full tour of this parsonage. And I have to say that the parsonage committee here had done an absolute beautiful, outstanding job decorating this house. It was just gorgeous. They'd just done all new in the kitchen. In fact, I just cannot tell you how beautiful it was. So we spent the day, and of course, our little girl that was going to be coming, Stephanie, picked the room upstairs with the butterfly wallpaper that she just fell in love with, and had French provincial white furniture. It was just perfect for a little girl. So anyway, we had such a great homecoming coming here to be able to see where we were going to be assigned in 6 weeks. So we go back to Boone and we get ready to leave Boone. And I've always been sad to leave a place because I've been happy everywhere I've been. And of course, I knew we were going to just have a wonderful ministry here because of all the wonderful people we had met. So on January the 29th, we were really supposed to have moved on January the 27th, but we had a big snowstorm in Boone, and that kept all of the ministers that were moving behind my husband, George. No one could move till George moved because the cycle had to be all complete. And Garland and Jane had already moved out to give them time to just do a little cleaning on the parsonage. And so the parsonage was ready for us. So the move was delayed 2 days, but on January the 29th, 1987, which was a Thursday, the move took place. The truck was able to get up to the parsonage to move our belongings to Academy Street, Waynesville. So our daughter rode with her dad, and we had a cat that we had had for quite some years. And so they rode together, and I rode in the other car, and we arrived at the parsonage. There was not snow here, but we left 8 inches of snow in Boone. But when we pulled up out here on the sidewalk, I saw Clarence Plock coming down the kitchen steps after he had been in doing a few little touch-ups on the parsonage. Stephanie had asked him about a couple of things, and he had followed her wishes and done what she had asked him to do. So anyway, we came in and had a great beginning because our movers were great. They got us all in, and the people here were so welcoming to us. We just knew it was going to be such a good. But I've got to share one thing. On January the 5th, 1989, I was in my kitchen, and the telephone rings, and I answer the phone, and it's Shelby Daily Star from Shelby, North Carolina, the paper, calling to say, "Mrs. Thompson, I want to interview you about your husband's death." And I said, "My husband's death?" I said, "My husband is in his office on the 3rd floor across from this parsonage where we live, and I can see him from my kitchen window. And my husband is still with me and my daughter and our family." And I said, "I think you need George W. Thompson. George E. Thompson is my husband, and George W. Thompson died a few days ago." And I said, "If you will hold just a moment, I will be able to give you his wife's telephone number, because I have the conference journal where I can put my finger on it." I was so glad that I could do that for him. So that was quite an interesting thing. But I loved, and my husband loved, being this close to the church, and our daughter as well, because we'd never lived just this close, but it was just beautiful to be right here, and people respected our privacy, so we did not have people coming wanting to borrow a key or wanting us to get something from the church. It was just a beautiful time from day one. And I had been teaching all through the years 5th grade Sunday school in the previous churches we had served, and when we got here, guess what? They needed a 5th grade Sunday school teacher. And I was on the 3rd floor of the educational building, and Mary Hale was our Christian director. And I, of course, loved Mary as everybody loved Mary and Joe Hale. And so I worked closely with Mary. And while I was here, I got very involved in the elementary school at Central. I wanted to volunteer some of my time at Central Elementary, where our daughter Stephanie was. And I became a grade parent, mother, and helped with those type of little social events when we had those, and was able to assist the teachers through Stephanie's years in elementary school wherever they needed me. And then as she went on to junior high, I just got involved visiting shut-ins here. I got real close to a lot of the shut-ins. But the parsonage here was just a wonderful house for entertaining, and I loved having the choir at Christmas time to come, and the dining room was just lovely. And this was a beautiful house to decorate at Christmas. So it was just a brightening, warming experience, and I can't say enough for this house. And of course, I am so happy to know what is happening now to this building. I just think it's wonderful that it's now the Friendship House, and they're using this for showers and for pantry, food pantry, and clothes closet, and then serving breakfast. I came and helped a few weeks when they needed someone to help with breakfast here after they opened this up for that. But I just felt this was wonderful. This house is still with us and used in that way. June of 1992, of course, is when we were being moved from this church, Waynesville, to Christ Church United Methodist Church in Greensboro. And we got the word that Rob Blackburn and his wife Sarah and their 3 children were coming here as senior minister. So we made arrangements before we left to invite the Blackburns to come and have a tour of the church and a tour of the parsonage. And they came and spent a day here, and Matthew got to come, but Carrie and Michael did not get to come. But Matthew was dealing with chicken pox, and he could not go to school, so they brought Matthew, and he got to tour this church, this parsonage, and probably got to pick out his room. I did never ask if he did. But anyway, it was a great time for them. And it was just wonderful because Sarah had been working, I think, with the preschool program, and she was able to plug in here with that. And they had an outstanding ministry here. They did not get to stay in this parsonage but a short time because they were here during the fire, and they had to move from this house. But I just cannot say enough good things about First United Methodist Church. And I want to end by saying this. The reason we are here today retired is that we love the people here, we love the church, we love the town and everything about it. That before we left, Horward Myers, who was on the staff at First Waynesville as Minister of Visitation, we had visited Horward and Fran Shell in their home, and after leaving, we said to Horward, if you ever decide to sell your home, call us. We did not expect to ever hear from him because they had 3 sons, and I knew one of them would probably want the home. It was a lovely home on Highland Road. After we had been gone 6 years, we got a call from Horward Myers saying, George and Pat, I want to know if you're still interested in our home. Our boys are not, and we would love for you to come and see the home because my wife's health is becoming bad, and we're going to have to go into the Methodist home in Asheville, Gibbons, and we need to sell our home in order to go there. So we made a quick trip in 2 days to Waynesville and spent the day with the Myerses and made an offer on the home, and they said give us 2 weeks and we'll be back in touch. The next morning after we awakened in Greensboro, we had a phone call from Horward Myers, and he said, Pat, we accept your offer. How soon can you come back and get the paperwork done? And so in a couple of days, we drove back to Waynesville and got the paperwork done and bought the house. And we said we will look forward to the time that we can retire and come here and be a part again of First United Methodist Church, Waynesville. And we feel with no doubt in our mind that we made the wise decision, and we are so happy in this church being retired and getting to be with all of these people that we love and meeting all the new people that have joined through the years. It's been a blessing. Thank you.